Franklin Square. Going for a scoop. And today, oh man, they got Disco Queen going. Tell me that's not one of the best songs ever created by man. Disco Queen, ABBA. Shout out to Art Bell. The real ones know. If you know, you know. Art Bell is... Oh, no. We're just going to leave it for the real ones. Here we are. Center City, Philadelphia. Today started off crappy. 60 degrees. Ugh. Or 58 degrees, actually, when I looked at the weather the first time. Now... Or 65, right? This guy, we got people painting. We got some errands to run. And we're going to have ourselves a good old time. This is 6th Street. We're on Publisher Row. And right here, this is a park. It's called Washington Square. And this is the former home of the former mayor of Philadelphia, Richard Dilworth. And if you check out the hinges on this door at this church. How big it is. Across the street, you got the old historic homes of Pine Street. There's some historic homes. A former president didn't live too far down the street. Hello, scooter friend. Yeah, look at all the Revolutionary War people with all the Betsy Ross flags. Colonial flags, that's what they're called. And this used to be the original entryway in to the graveyard. If you see, there's actually a headstone built in, or 2 headstones built into this brickway. They decided when they first opened this graveyard, the pathway wasn't long enough. So you got this guy sticking out, this guy sticking out. And right here you got a little... Just mind your toes if you're wearing flip-flops. Don't stub your toes. Do you know the name William Hurry? Well, William Hurry is the man who rang the bell proclaiming the Declaration of Independence was signed on the 4th of July, 1776. That was his job. He was the guy who rang the bell at the Pennsylvania State House. That's the real name of Independence Hall. All right, if you're looking for a house for sale in Old City, or this would be Society Hill, 221 Pine Street, let me know in the comments. Oh, man. Well, it looks kind of big. You got the one house, and then it goes back here. I'm going to say... $1.7 million. Let me know in the comments how much that house is going for. This is called the Head House, and this is the oldest outdoor market that's still in use in the United States. It still might be the oldest market. Yeah, so this building was built in 1745. Boys to Men. You ever see that video, Motown Philly? They filmed it in here. We're now entering the South Street Head House District. Yeah, Boys to Men, Motown Philly. That was filmed. They hold all types of events. They have flea markets in here all the time, Christmas events. We're now crossing over the South Street Bridge, going over to Penn's Landing. I want to check this out. They're going to be building a new park that caps I-95, kind of like what's going above 95 right now. But one of the things that I wasn't aware of is that Penn's Landing is getting completely destroyed for this park. And it's, let me show you. All right, now here we are, Penn's Landing. This is the Machalou. If you ever saw, is it Godfather 2? When Robert De Niro was Vito Corleone. This is the boat from that movie. I think Godfather 2. This lady's taking some fantastic pictures with a submarine and a boat from the Spanish-American War. How exciting. This over here we call this Spruce Street Harbor. And it's this little place where you can hang out with your friends or family, and they have like hammocks, and it's lit up. And oh, weapons of war. How about that? You ever walk past a torpedo? What they did to my Penn's Landing. Oh, they paved paradise. Well, yeah, I think the stage area was right here. And if you look, it was like the staging area. I saw Little Richard, Donna Summers, Boyz II Men performed here. Pavarotti performed here. They Might Be Giants. So many people performed on the stage. Yeah, there's the overhead view. The staging area was near where that truck is. Along here they had like statues, and it talked about William Penn visiting Penn's Landing for the first time. And you see on the other side of I-95 they're already working on building the cap, and it's coming along. Yeah, the street just ends. Look at that. It's also very strange looking over here, because over there is where the battleship New Jersey used to be docked, and that right now is getting cleaned at the Philadelphia Navy Yard. So the whole waterfront here looks different, kind of. That's a hell of a hoard. That is a hell of a hoard. That is a hell of a hood ornament. That's the third time I tried to say hood ornament. It's very tough. All right, here we are, Alfreds Alley. This is the oldest street in America that has had residents living on it continuously. Matter of fact, there's a rare opportunity. You could buy a house that was owned since the time the King of England owned this place. There you go. Look at this guy. He's all smiles. Everybody's happy. 139. Is that this house? If you look at the flags on Alfreds Alley, they'll tell you about who owned the house during the 1776 time. So this guy was probably, well, I don't know. Looks like mixed here. A little bit of a loyalist, a little bit of a patriot. The people who lived here were loyalists to the king, and I believe these guys here, back in 1776, they were with the American colonies. And yes, you can drive a car down Alfreds Alley. Must be a pain in the ass to do it in the summertime with all the people. You see all the people standing in the street taking pictures. I couldn't live on this street. Just too many people walking around. And I'm by the Painted Bride, so I better just keep documenting it, because one day I'm going to come down here and this building's going to be demolished. You can see they're still working on taking off tiles of the art. They're still trying to preserve the art. This building's going to be demolished. Wow, they got a lot of it off. See the bike rack, it says Bride. It was a community art center. How the artwork's plastered to the wall. There's one little mirror left. They got a good portion of this wall. Yeah, he painted, or not painted, he put this mosaic stuff up in 1991. You know, earlier, before this video started, I started making the video, but it just wasn't gelling. And I do this thing from time to time called bonus bullshit. And I'm going to wrap this up at another church and a museum. Here we are, Northern Liberties. You were probably just like me. I was listening to the Dead Milkmen, Not Richard But Dick album. I was listening to the song called The Infant of Prague, Customize My Van, which is a song about how Catholic saints sometimes don't decompose and they get preserved It's called Uncorruptible. That's it. We have a uncorruptible, sounds like a superhero, where his superpower is not decomposing. We have a Catholic saint, and look how good I am. I'm taking off my Philadelphia Wings hat to go inside a church, because I know my Aunt Claire will be watching this, and so is my mom, and they're big fans of the Catholic Church. Look, it's a miracle. The doors open up by themselves. All right, let's do the museum first, and then we'll go say hi to St. John Newman. There he is, St. John Newman. Lived here. He was the Bishop of Philadelphia. Little museum you can walk through. Now, I was raised Catholic, so and I was also an altar boy, so it's neat to see some of these items that were touched by a saint. When you come in, they have this baptismal fountain. This is a replica of the baptism fount that he was baptized in over in the Czech Republic, and it tells this whole story. There's him saying Mass. This is the very first altar he ever said Mass at. It was an altar at a church in New York City, and the church was destroyed, and this is where they kept holy oils. And this is pretty interesting. This is a collection basket they used in the church back in the 1830s, and they only use coins. No, so the baskets are a lot smaller than the ones they use back when I went to church. Well, this is an outfit worn by St. Alfreds. I don't know him, but this is from 1732. And this is a bishop outfit that John Newman wore himself when he was the 4th Bishop of Philadelphia back in the 1850s, I believe. Check out his eyeglasses. They're so tiny. These are some more of his own personal items. This is something he said Mass on in 1850 in like rural Pennsylvania. He just used a dresser. And he passed away of a stroke at the age of 49 in 1860. He was buried in a coffin, and they dug him up in 1863, and then his body was placed in this coffin just for a little bit, and then they dug him up and they said, okay, his body's not decomposing, and he performed a miracle on a sick child, and so this is the coffin he was actually buried in, and right now you can see his body in a glass case at the bottom, underneath the altar at the church I'm at. Pope John Paul II said Mass at this church, and he sat in that chair, so that makes that a relic, and he kneeled on that pillow.
We have never even heard that there was a holy spirit. He said, how would we baptize? They replied, with baptism. God arises, his enemies are scattered, and those who hate him flee before him. As small.
I can't go inside the church and show you the preserved body because they're saying Mass on top of his body right now. Fun fact is, my friend Janine is I think it's called the cantor, or is the cantor the singing person? I think they're the lectern. And my friend Janine is doing I call it the guest hosting with the priest. When you go to Catholic Church, you have the priest says Mass, and then you got like a regular civilian who does readings. And I knew she went to that church, but I didn't know she was like reading. That's only the super duper Catholics do that. I hope none of those Catholics stole my car. Okay.